Hello everybody, HarlequinCoHO here, and I've got a nice little 1v1 for you. You know, Thanksgiving is just getting finished here in America, and that means all of my in-laws have left my house, and I'm once again alone and able to cast wonderful games for you. Going through my inbox, I found this little gem, and I hadn't noticed it, of course, but WmDSandland sent me this game, and if you're not familiar with him, he is a #2 armor player on the ladder. He's currently like 60 and 20 or something like that, but puts him at like 927 skill rating. He's really good. And his opponent is Cracken, and if you haven't seen him, he's been all over the place lately. There's a couple of good replays of his floating around on GameReplays.org, but Cracken is currently number 13th as a Blitzkrieg commander. And he's like in the 900s as well. So although his record is much different, he's about like 84 and 15 or something like that when I checked here. So we're going to go ahead and get a good look at this. And this was just sitting in my inbox, and I hadn't really got a chance to go over my replays yet that people submit me. Lots of people send me good replays. I try to get to them all, but you know, we'll get around to it. I'm in different moods for different kinds of games during the day. But you'll see this is kind of cool here. So he finishes this. He finishes his barracks and sends his engineers all the way up north to cap this forward fuel point, while his second engineers cap the right-hand fuel point. And by the time they get up there and actually cap that fuel point, the riflemen have time to come all the way out here and cap this strategic point right in front of his base, kind of giving him 2 quick fuel points, and stabbing his territory deep into Cracken's territory, oddly enough. So you'll see Cracken is doing a much more traditional opening, going over here for fuel, going over here for ammo, and then going down to the middle with his first Katzenmeyer's Volksgrenadiers to cap the center there. And I do like this idea, because you'll see where the position that it puts him in is that these pioneers now can cut all the way across and start decapping stuff right away. It's a really kind of aggressive, just kind of messing with the opening build order. You'll see right as these engineers walk across this bit of territory here, they'll see the blinking red, and they'll know that this territory is currently being captured. And so he can pretty much think in his head, oh, I bet if I just come back here and decap this, I'll screw up his early game a little bit. And it kind of reminds me in chess how you have all these different openings and all these different defenses, and you can say things like, on certain chess games you'll have like, oh, he began with an English opening, oh, he countered it with a Nimzo Indian defense, and all these kind of clever ways of opening positions on the board, and that kind of reminds me a lot of that. Maybe I'm just a little too jacked up on caffeine or something, but that's what I like to think about when I think about this game. And you'll see right away, accomplished HMG team just lining up for the kill, and these engineers are just going to have to get the heck out of there. But they do lay down there just long enough to decap the point, and then they run out of there. So no real problem. And there was a crippling trap right there in the ground. And they didn't even see it. It looks like he's got his field pioneers out here. Yep. So Cracken had field pioneers out, and somehow they just didn't quite set that crippling trap off ever. So meanwhile, we'll see that it looks like the riflemen kind of went down to the right to cap all this stuff on this little island here, whereas the second group of riflemen came out, started heading north, and then backed off to engage the Katzenmeyer's Volksgrenadiers. I kind of disagree with this. I think you should keep your riflemen kind of central. And let your engineers come down here and cap all this jack, and let them skirmish with stuff, and then decide if you want to pull them back or whatever. A good placement here on this accomplished HMG team. Going to put some suppressing fire down. These corners are always good to defend, and of course, when you can, you want to get up into here, and even get up into here if you can push the allied player back far enough. Meanwhile, we'll see a few riflemen just kind of coming up here. Going to play some footsie here with these field pioneers. And these riflemen are just kind of without anything to do at the moment. So one criticism right off the bat, I loved how he stabbed out and took that territory, and then he kind of didn't do anything with it. Now you can see he's actually evacuated all of his troops from the center. And it kind of puts Sandland in a very weak position here. And it doesn't really help to have control over the left and the right. The right you can hold because it's connected in a couple of ways, but control over the left, if you don't have control over this spot in front of your base, you're going to have a bad time. So we'll see that there is a HMG team in here. This little bug is preventing me from seeing it. But there we go. From Cracken's point of view, we can clearly see HMG team with Katzenmeyer's Volksgrenadiers. Meanwhile... We've been playing a little bit of footsie here. There's another crippling trap set up here, and one more on the top of this hill, and you'll see, boom! Oh, they set off the crippling trap and get pinned for a sec. It doesn't really do anything, but if you're not familiar with it, that's an ability that these field pioneers can do. they can set these little crippling traps up, and they just kind of slow units down and pin them for a second. So kind of just an annoying trap, not quite a landmine or anything like that, but we'll see double riflemen now closing in on this single group of Volkswagen who do, by the way, in terms of army items, have decreased cost by 30, or reinforcement cost, and increased health by 16. Riflemen have kind of standard 3% accuracy. They can get more accurate than that, but 20% sight, and armor 6%. So not too bad. Fatherland HMG team out, so count them. That's 2 machine guns, 2 hero machine guns out for Cracken. Meanwhile, these Volkswagen are just kind of messing around. You'll see that it looks like Sandland has got 4 rifle squads out, 2 engineers. These rifles are just kind of biding their time up there. And let me take a look at Cracken while we're at it. Cracken does have, looks like, 2 machine gun squads, both heroes, hero engineers, hero Volks, another Volks, and another engineer. So, you know, pretty standard opening. But you'll see he did move this accomplished HMG team all the way up into this forward house, which has direct line of sight over this bridge. And just a real terrible position to be in for Sandland. That's a hard place to get out of, because it forces you to either ignore it and fight over here on the right, or have to deal with a machine gun and back tech and get snipers and all that sort of crap if you have trouble with that. So we'll see them just kind of poking around. Let's take a look at Cracken's abilities while we have it here. So like I said, he's Blitzkrieg. Just a Wehrmacht quarters up for now. Haven't seen if he researched any more tech yet. But he has infantry pillage, flares, stormtroopers, manpower blitz, and assault reinforcements. The only thing on that list that I'm always kind of like, yeah, you know, I don't really know, is the assault reinforcements. I kind of like seeing the heavy armor support one myself, just to get the King Tiger out and some Ostwinds and things like that. Just because I think if you already have stormtroopers, you know, but you know, it's a great ability, and you know, who am I to judge? That's just one of my. I think you've got infantry covered, so I'd like to see some armor there just for the heck of it. But that's just my personal preference there, perhaps. Taking a look back here at Sandland, we'll see Sandland. I don't know. Anyhow, WMD. So you'll see he pretty much has a standard layout here for armored players. These 4 abilities, HVAP rounds, the armor-piercing rounds, the self-repair, the Calliope, and the Pershing, that's all standard stuff. And then you can kind of choose this one as you like it. You can see right away, look at the suppressing power of having that HMG team right in there. There's really nothing they can do. You can kind of fight it for a little bit and hope that one squad can maybe go all the way out here and then try and cap that or something, but it's just hopeless. They're going to have to get out of here. Anyhow, I was going to say Armored Bounty is pretty much the one ability that you can pick and choose if you want. You know, some people like Allied War Machine or something to that effect. But we'll see, though. No chump here. He actually did do that. He got himself, you know, pinned so he could throw the grenade in there. Blew the chimney right off of the roof. Look at that. Great grenade, I suppose. Killed one HMG team. Did some damage to them, but everybody else is going to have to get out of there. But he did unpin these guys here. Now, you'll notice that was a regular group of riflemen throwing that hand grenade. I've seen this with a couple of people. It looked like Automed did this when he was on Automed 3, which is his armor commander. Went really quickly for hand grenades, and I think that's a great idea for armor players. A lot of people have other things that they can use to help them out against infantry early on. Whoa, hand grenade, move! Oh, looks like one rifleman goes down, maybe even the gunfire. But pretty much they're just going to do a lot of damage here to Katzenmeyer's Volksgrenadiers and get out of there. But it seems to me like getting grenades first is great. You know, a lot of things can be solved with just a couple of grenades, and if you're not going to go heavy on heroes, you know, I still think going Gladiator Riflemen and using their like fire up ability to just kind of run past a machine gun and then throw a grenade, wonderful unit. But maybe not everybody has that unit yet. It's an epic unit, but so getting grenades early on instead of bars is an interesting choice, and we'll have to see how well that serves him. So some engineers back here, by the way, health regen and 20% capture speed on the engineers there. You know, just trying to give an idea what kind of army items are out there as the game goes on. Moving in, and this is just good strats anyway. So you notice one squad covers the other one, just sitting back here, while the second squad moves in and just kind of flushes out the place. That's just a good idea in any video game. You know, you could be playing, you know, Tom Clancy Rainbow Six, and that's just as good. You know, one guy doesn't have to move and gets really accurate. The other one comes in and flushes him out and puts some pressure on him. So good way to 2v1 there. Still seeing this heavy machine gun here. It looks like the machine gun felt that this was a little too exposed and decided to back up. But for the most part, Cracken's got a very strong control of the central position here. There is a... Looks like there's a machine gun in here that I can't see again because of that little bug. Let me check that out. Boop. Yep, there we go. So Fatherland HMG team down there. And here's that accomplished HMG moving out. Looking for a better place. He suspects that there's infantry sneaking by over there, so he kind of moves more across the street to get some shots at this area, but these guys are already passed. You'll see them again trying to get into a good flanking position, likely going to throw a hand grenade. We'll see how that's going to go. Getting all the way around behind the machine gun team. Oh, and he activated infantry pillage, which of course gives you, oh, hand grenade. Boom! Oh, double kill, takes out the rest of the machine gun. Infantry pillage gives you manpower and munitions whenever you kill a unit while it's active. So you got a little bit out of that, but he lost that HMG team. Going to have to back up. Looks like we got the hero pioneers, the field pioneers are going to be in there. And he's going to go ahead and try and pick up that, he picks up that machine gun, retreats on everybody. Oh, the grenades are just going off all over the place. Ah! And he loses the other machine gun. That's no good. So grenades everywhere. You can see that this early munitions, he's just going to be throwing it all over the place. Now Cracken right now, floating a lot of cash. You know, maybe he thought he'd be able to, you know, buy some stormtroopers by now, or maybe he's just really focusing on this kind of micro double flame engineers moving in here. Oh, killing the field pioneers. Maybe he's just having a bad day. You never know. I always feel bad when, you know, I cast this and a winner submits it to me and it's, you know, the other guy is, you know, who knows, maybe he just had a bad day or something like that. So Cracken, I welcome you to send me any replays you want. I'll happily make it up to you. But, so like I said, floating a bit of cash here, might just be really involved in this micro. You can see he's still using flares though. I mean, he's definitely focusing heavy on this. Katzenmeyer's throwing hand grenades. Having no cover on any of these guys due to the flares is really brutal. You can tell they're taking a lot of extra casualties because of it. But even so, Katzenmeyer's might not have enough. Looks like now the flare is kind of one-sided and standing on the hand grenade. Oh, everybody gets killed and the grenade gets, rifle gets thrown way up in the air like that. So a few Volksgrenadiers coming up to back him up here. The three of them looks like they're going to pick up. Oh, they're picking up a machine gun and retreating. Can he get out of here? He's going to retreat with the gun. Oh, did he get? Oh, this is like a cursed gun. Oh, do you see that? He just like flopped all over that gun, falling over it. Anyhow, that's kind of the curse of the machine gun there. And everyone who touches it dies. Meanwhile, from Cracken's point of view, you can see floating a lot of money. You know, maybe he was hoping to get level 3 by now and start spamming out some stormtroopers. Maybe he's behind in his build order, or maybe he just hasn't got. No, he's got his pioneers back here. I don't know what he's saving for. I have no idea what he's doing. I apologize, but hey, what can I say? So, anyhow. Could be saving up for lots of assault reinforcements, but that's a level 5 ability. Maybe he's just, you know, not leveling as fast as he used to or something to that effect. But hopefully we'll see some buildings going up soon and some units coming out. So now he's queuing up a couple of units. Okay, that's not so bad. But clearly just the lack of units and then losing a bunch of squads in a row like that really, really puts WmDSandland in a good position. So Sandland now taking the center very confidently. Oh, just shooting down all these pioneers here. Meanwhile, getting flanked by a little bit of stuff here. Fatherland HMG team. Oh, a couple of oversights here. I think we're just seeing maybe a bad day for Cracken. But you can see that he didn't quite finish resupplying this machine gun team. I always hate seeing that. I wish that was a queuable ability, honestly. I wish you could, you know, queue them up and then, you know, somehow say, okay, and once you're done getting reinforced, then move to this next thing. But there's no way in the interface that I can think of right now to do that. Now we'll see. He went ahead and did a standard build order after getting grenades and went supplier motor pool. And this Greyhound is just flying on in. Looks like it's busy upgrading. Probably armored skirts first, I would imagine. That seems to be what most people go for. 16% health on armored cars. You know, just some basic little army items, just kind of all across the board. You know, so far engineers, riflemen, and Greyhounds. But, you know, who knows what else he has. That accounts for 5, 6 of them. So he's got 8, I think. Anyhow. Meanwhile, recapping some of this stuff, just good solid positioning here in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and swap on back to Sandland's perspective while we see all of this stuff going on. We do have Volksgrenadiers here. We have the 2 out of 3 Fatherland HMG team, and somebody just jumped into that building. Meanwhile, the Greyhound is now going to move on up, and I'd honestly like to see it put pressure on that sort of stuff. Whenever I feel machine gun fire on a Greyhound, I just want to charge it at the machine gun, because it's one of the few, you know, less vulnerable to machine gun things that you can get here. And I don't know where those guys just came from, but they just retreated right through a firing